Hello everybody and welcome back to more AEW on TEW 2020. We are here the second week of September in 2022 with our show of Rampage. We start off with a match in the Tag Team Breakup Tournament as Willpower defeat the Von Erichs, Willie Mack and Will Hobbs, picking up the win. Afterwards, Proud and Powerful, they were shown throughout the entire match to have been watching at ringside seats. After the match, they enter to look Willpower up and down, and eventually they get a mic of their own. And they say, you know what, I gotta start off by saying that you two are damn good. I mean, sure. Those two guys, they haven't done too much in AEW, but the Von Erichs, they have the blood of legends running in their veins. And, well, of course, while this isn't MLW, they are the MLW Tag Team Champions. That said, I know that you two ain't just looking to capture MLW gold. No. You want the top prize in all of pro wrestling. Something that we, that Proud and Powerful, have held. Lest you all forget, we've held those belts. So let's tell you what, Wills. Regardless of how this tournament goes for you guys, I'm sure there'll still be some time before Matt Sydal is ready to compete, so no matter what, we want to tune you up. We want to see you face to face in that ring. And we want to make sure that you're really ready for the big time against people like The Vision. But yeah, Willpower and Proud and Powerful. Lots of power getting involved. After this, Renee Paquette has a sit-down interview with Ricky Starks, talking about the uphill battle that he'll have against Miro. He says, Renee, I know it's hard to put on together, but you of all people know just how strong Miro is. See, I get why people are afraid of him. He is 6 foot tall, 300 pounds, pure strength, and Russian rage. Okay, well maybe he's cut back on that rage. Sure, that's kind of his whole thing these past few months, but he's still a massive bull of a man. And there's a reason that he's a world champion now. There's a reason he's at the top of the mountain. But you already know what absolute Ricky Starks is about. He's about climbing those mountains. He's about crushing each and every expectations that others have on him. Ricky Starks is not just absolute because I say I'm absolute. No. I'm absolute because I prove day in and day out that I am the best that there is in AEW. There's a reason that I outlasted 20 men in that Battle Royale at All Out. That I proved my worth at all. And that I'm practically a god amongst men when it comes to pro wrestling. So, Ricky Starks, it's a decent babyface promo, but he's not done yet. CM Punk then walks into the interview, and he says, as he walks in, he's like, no, don't get up, Ricky. Look, I know that you're not wrong, that you're the #1 contender because of that Battle Royale, and trust me, I do know a good few people who have been at the top of the mountain, the top of the world because of a Battle Royale. But, let's be honest with ourselves, Ricky. This isn't any sports entertainment shit. This isn't somewhere where you can just cut in line and suddenly be at the top. No. This is where the big boys play. Where consistent performance is rewarded rather than fluky wins in a single Battle Royale, or being at the right place at the right time and debuting just when you need to. So you know what, Ricky? I've already talked with Paul Heyman about this, and he's already given the okay about this. Let's be honest, people tune in to TBS, to TNT, to see CM Punk, not Ricky Starks. And I'm challenging you in the main event of next week's Rampage for the right to challenge Miro next. So big main event for Rampage announced. Usually I like doing these matches on Dynamite, but Rampage gets more viewers because TBS is a bigger network in this game. Okay, this. So we get a draw. Because, well, they're Adam Page, Orange Cassidy, they're having a match, and eventually it gets called off by the referee, Jerry Lynn, for some mysterious attackers, well, attacking. And they keep attacking, and they keep beating down Orange Cassidy and Hangman Page. They have no regard for the referee, Jerry Lynn, calling them off, or from any of the other referees rushing back. But eventually, they do run off when Eddie Kingston and Shinsuke Nakamura rush out. But the Master Attackers rush off before they can be stopped and leave through the crowd, as Kingston and Nakamura check up on Page and Cassidy They had a little bit of a team up during the Battle Royale. They're visiting this. It's the same thing I did with the Vision. They have great chemistry. I found that out. So, yeah. After this, Alex Marvez approaches Miro's locker room and asks if he has any comments in regards to the announcement made earlier by CM Punk. And he just very simply says, no matter who wins between them, I'll make sure that there is as good of a fight as there possibly can be. And then CJ starts talking, and she says, it doesn't matter if you're absolute or the best in the world. My husband is a man who has something more than anyone here will ever get. He has the power of himself. He is 100% himself. He knows that he's a flawed man, he's a humble man, and that humility, that knowledge, gives him a strength beyond what those two can ever get while they're stuck up in their own asses. And of course, Miro has those people to lean on, people like myself. He doesn't have to just rely on underlings, on paid goons, on people who just hype him up because that's what they're supposed to do. So, Miro will watch that match in person, and maybe he'll even be on commentary. I can't say for him. But both of us look forward to this match. Really hyping it up. I wanted to get Maki and Abaddon on the show. They haven't wrestled in a while, it feels like, so quick victory over the two of the three ladies of the Nightmare family. So before the match, as Maki was making her way, her song that she does when she's entering is dissing Utami, her status as a cultist, all about, just making fun of Utami. And it's much the same, but of course different lyrics, in the post-match song and dance. But her music eventually is stopped, and, Maki, there's a little bit of silence where she's just kind of awkwardly ad-libbing or whatever. And then Utami comes down towards the ring. She has the mic in her hand. Abaddon, she looks ready to attack, but Maki holds her back. Abaddon doesn't go out. Tommy's talking about to Maki about how she just needs to stay down, and Maki's, in her very Maki way, basically says, no, fuck off. And eventually there's some back and forth still, and Utami ends up leaving the ring. There's no confrontation, and Abaddon the entire time she's kind of looking back and forth, and Maki on the mic says, next time Utami comes around, Abaddon, you can attack at will. And Abaddon's very happy about this. Yeah. Continuing that along, lots of women in this middle section. Ashley Flair is seen in her court, and she is completely raging. Court members are trying to calm her down, and for a while there's no avail until eventually Lady Bernice manages to calm her down. And Ashley, she kind of sits down on her throne, head in her hands, says, I've had it with my performance on the big stage in AEW. I can win as many matches as possible on Dynamite or Rampage, but when I have the big stage come to me, when I have a big match come to me here, it all gets screwed up. So listen up, ladies. I want each and every one of you to ensure that I do not lose ever again. And if I do, your heads will roll. There's a little bit of tentative silence. They're very worried about this, but eventually, Lydia speaks up, and she says, I don't think that's a good idea, my queen. In AEW, having numbers is always a better thing, but I think that we can assure you that you get what you want, that you can get up to the top without having to risk us being gone. Me and the ladies of the court have been planning something. They all huddle in, and before we can hear their plan, we fade out to commercial. I'll probably just rework all their gimmicks. After this, Shida in her open challenge defeats Lexi Paradise, but it is not a clean win. It kind of is. Lexi is distracted by Shotzi Blackheart. So yeah, Shida's a little bit frustrated that it's not a completely clean win. While Lexi is pissed at Shotzi, she charges out after the ring. She orders Satnam to follow after, but he's slow compared to Shotzi. And Shotzi, the way that she ends, I'm imagining kind of how Lexi goes in. She kind of has like, it's kind of the director's chairs usually, I think, but I think they have them for actors too. The really crappy, like almost paper chairs, just like the wood in the really soft film, really thin film rather. It's not really that soft. So she kind of has that for her entrance, and that's set up outside the ring so that when she wins, you can sit on it, take all the cameras in and all that stuff. But Shotzi destroyed that with her tank, probably on accident, maybe. The A-listers then chase Shotzi off. They're following her backstage. Cameras follow. Shotzi, she's way ahead of them. She has a huge head start, and she's quicker than Big Boy Satnam Singh and tired Lexi Paradise. And Lexi, she ends up cursing her out, but it's the faux curses. You don't want to make the network angry with too much cursing in too short of a time. Real AEW. After this, we have a interview with Jim Ross and Christian Cage. And Jim asks Christian if he's found any new potential proteges for training. He says, there's a lot of people in AEW that I look at and I see future star written all of them. Hell, there's 5 I can name off the back of my hand. Vikingo, Hook, Ace Austin, Lucas Fender, Griffin Slayton. There's even more I could name just past those. And that's just for the guys. That's not even including women. That's not even including people who are almost 30. I look here as someone who's a little bit past their prime. And he is cut off by Jimmy Shane walking in. He says, I overheard you saying your top 5 prospects in AEW. And I noticed that myself. No shame, Jimmy Shane wasn't on there. Now, I love your work, Christian, and you are a legend, but you're just dumb to not include me on there. And you know what? I'll just have to prove to you just how good I am. I will take on all 5 of those people you listed anytime, anywhere, and I will beat them because I am the best that Ohio has ever had to offer. He leaves and Christian and JR are just confused. Jimmy is still very much in AEW, kind of a nobody. He just walked in, he's insulted Christian, refused to elaborate, and left. They are very confused. We then see a vignette of the Jericho Appreciation Society headquarters. Jericho's popping open the bubbler and hanging out with the... That's the wrong Dave. Hanging out with JS. And he says, it finally is amazing that people who really respect me for who I am, I mean, the Lexings crushed in their Dynamite debut against the North. I got respectable, world-traveled veterans like Taya Valkyrie in my corner, and of course, my 2 proteges, the 2 people who I see the most potential in the world, the people who have stuck it out with me through thick and thin, Sammy and Ace. Now, I'm going to tell all of you guys this, so remember it well. To celebrate 32 years at the top of the business, on the first Dynamite of October, we're going to celebrate my debut. We're going to have a celebration of the life and times of Chris Jericho, the immortal god of wrestling. Sammy, Ace, I want you to keep this in mind, and I want you two in charge of preparations. Because I want this to be the biggest celebration that AEW has ever had for anything. So yeah, I'm gonna try out a themed Dynamite for once. In our main event, Kevin Steen and Remy Sabay defeat Top Flight. Pretty obvious that they were going to win when this match would presumably be announced on Twitter. The Briscoes music hits after the match, and they walk out onto the stage with Jeff Cobb, Hook, and Taz. The Briscoes say that people like Kevin and Ramy betrayed wrestling by jumping ship to warm, sunny beaches rather than toughing out in the mud and the ground that makes you feel alive. And Taz echoes this in much more Brooklyn terms, saying that AEW shouldn't have a place for traitors to wrestling like you two. And he challenges Ramy and Kev to a 4v4 match as long as Kev and Ramy find 2 partners. I wasn't sure how to really end this show. My booking really fell apart near the end. Bit of a weaker show in terms of ratings, but I like this one. It built up quite a few new stories, quite a few good stories. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to worry about ratings less. So that's all well and good. But that will do it for this time. We'll come back next time for our week 3, Dark and Dynamite.